Welcome back to ShopDog-Garage. Ollie's out running about. It's actually pretty nice. It's been a while since we've had such nice weather. And I'm going to get back on this. I'm not worrying about the back here just yet. But if you recall, we have this shaped pretty reasonable. You know, at least as far as mating other panels. So that feels pretty good. It's just a wee bit high right here, but I think we can make up for that. And then sits pretty flush here. So I'm at the scariest point. No matter how I look at it, I have to add metal. And I've got a couple thoughts. I can add it to the fender and this header, or I can add it to the hood. And as much as I really don't want to do it, I think the hood makes more sense. And I'll explain the logic in just a second. ShopDog's an idiot. he just ran into a bucket. So you can see up front, in fact, I got some clearancing to do here, which is great. It's good to have room. But see, it's nice. And then right around here, in fact, I can see something on there. It's a little wider. So I'm going to have to grind back a feather here and down here and just add and stitch and add and stitch and add and stitch and try really hard not to warp that to there. And that one's bad enough. But this is the one I'm not looking forward to. You'll see. Nice. Uh-oh. And then right here is where it starts to become unnice. And it stays that way. Until it gets down here where it's downright 2 sticks worth. This is actually the worst, and we'll probably start there and start feathering our way back. I can't just build this out of filler because the hood will get open and closed, hands on it and stuff, and that's going to cause problems over time. Did I set that up high enough? No, I did not. But I don't need it to go up any higher. You can see it already has material added here. And then it must have just been a flake of filler that they did here, because that's gone now. So it's metal, and then that got knocked off, which is why that looks so silly. So I got to clean all that back. And then I think the way we want to do it is just like we did on these doors and on the fenders. Just build it up and build it up so that when we're done, we have actual metal. I can still do some of the metallized fillers and all that. It'll be nice, it'll be strong, but I need adhesed metal for it all to bond to. I'm not going to stick a lip of something out here just to get knocked off. Oh, yeah, and I can grind that down later too. So that's kind of where we're at. So anyway, we're going to get cracking. Okay, for better or for worse, I've got my PPE, and we're going to start with the gold on our little thing, and just going to grind this down here and right in here before I get to the actual surface of the hood. Make sure that I'm not making a mistake. So we'll be right back. Okay. I did a quick little test right here. I know you guys can't see it, but it comes off nice and clean. Hopefully you guys can hear me under this thing. So I'm going to continue down here, and it's funny, once I got it cleaned out, you'll see metal was already added here. I think this hood was tweaked right from the factory. Okay, so I've got the nose kind of ground down. And you can see I'm going back. I don't know how far back I gotta go, but I'd rather start conservative and work from there. But I am trying to grind it so it's feathered. And then under here, you can see where material was added here. Well, I can see it. I don't know if you guys can. But material already was added here, and then they filled that in. So I just ground all that out, and we're gonna add more. Starting roughly here, hence the tape, but you know how that is, you got to feather out. So I'm going to clean material further out than I'm expecting to have to go to make that transition as easy as possible. But you can see, in fact, right there, you can really see it. There's some lipping. Let me try to zoom in. Oh, there you go. Now you can see it. So, yeah, I'm not the first person to do this. Next part's terrifying, but, you know, what's the worst it's going to be? I got to buy another hood. You know, that's as bad as it could get. So, got this pretty ground down. I'm going to do a little more touch-up for some of these to get that out, because I don't know what happens when that burns. But you can literally see where they welded. And since this was a professional, I'm sure they welded a thin wire. That's out of my skill set. So I'm just going to do stacking like we've been doing everywhere else. It's slow. It's probably very not cost effective. But it gives me a little more control than I think I would have otherwise. And I think I'm going to start with trying to do my build out here and my build out here. You know, far away from each other, but in one common spot, so that I can kind of do a flush grind, close it, see how much out I need to go, and then that'll give me something, because now I know I'm going from this location. That's still reasonable. I'll be able to put a straight edge out once I know my out, and then build a few points along the way, get those, and then you just slowly come back and fill in and fill in and fill in. I'm going to do the same up front. I know it's going to be lined here and then come out this way. So, well, like I said, it's all over but the crying. Okay, well, I got to use my emergency fire bucket. Turned out that black sheet I was using under there, very, very highly flammable. Didn't know that. So now I do, and it is in the garbage now that it's been soaked in water. That was exciting. So anyway, I have a rough in kind of built up on this corner now of what I'm guessing is what I need. So, and it's not perfect by any stretch. And you can see I'm going to have to peel back a little further yet. But that should tell me if I'm progressing correctly. Remember, this was scalloped in, so I had to fill this in just to even begin the gap filling. So let's get all this out of the way and see what it looks like. Okay, just pop the hood down. Let's see here. Oh, and I found my stick. So you can see, look at that. That puts us right in grinding range of what I want right here. I don't know what's going on here. There's a smack there that isn't from me. Of course, there's one here and one here too, so I'm sure that used to be filler. I'm still not there on this side though. And you can see that's a long way over here. So if I can, oh boy, it's not a lot to add there to get to here. So if I can go from about here over, you know, straight like that, I think that would look really nice. Of course, it also brings to attention that I got a spot over here that could use a little work. But here, I may be able to fudge that on the header. You know, that's small enough. I might be able to get away with that. And then the obvious answer to an obvious question is the reason we're adding to the hood is it's going to be easier to hide that, especially if the hood's open up in the air. No one really looks at it. They look at the engine bay. And if there's a big ridge along this fender, people are going to notice it. I can also tell you now, filling that's going to take a while. This may be a multiple sessions. So, because just this little bit here sure has taken a while. Although I don't know that I would be doing quite as much all in one spot. I'd be jumping around. I just need to get this build up right so that I know what my corner is. Oh, and that's the other thing, of course, too, is I need to build up that peak. Yeah, it's pretty square. Okay, I know what I got to do. Okay, just turn the music down for a minute. I finally have this built up too much, so that's great. Shows me how much more I've got to go down here. And I've started my tacks here. It looks like they could come out just a tiny bit more. But, you know, it's a tack. And then you come over here and you tack, and you tack, and you tack, and you tack. I wish I could just run a bead, but if I did that, I think the hood would go whoop, 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 like a nasty road. So, even though I am using a flat disc on it, you can see we're not getting too crazy. I'm trying not to remove a bunch of material, just kind of knock the welds down enough so that I can see the shape. And you can see I got to kind of start in here, work my way down. See this one, well, wrong stick. Let me get the correct stick. Of course, it's going to be under stuff. This one will do. I just got to be careful. There's a spot that's thick. So see, we're coming. Okay, got to add a bunch, and then see, that's pretty close. That one is snug. That's the good one. That's the height I'm looking for right there. That's how much weld I've got to build up. That one's too loose yet. That one's close. And then you can see I've actually got too much now, which is great because I've really built that back up because this corner has to be strong. And then over here, we're actually getting pretty close. So see, we're going to start, well, literally right here at the one where it pinches. And see, that one's a good fit. In here is pretty good. I got a little build up here, a little fill in on a void over here. But other than that, I'm pretty happy. I can even contour here a little bit. So we're getting there. Okay, so looking here, you'll see that we're now much nicer. You know, just from this here to here. So now I've got to do that all the way down to about there. That'll take a minute. And of course, you can only do a little bit. You gotta let it cool. So then I can keep coming over here and working, because you can see it's pretty good to right there. And then we'll just bridge it in. We'll get structure, and then we'll come back and we'll fill voids and grind and fill voids and grind, and when it's all done, we'll use that all metal filler like we did on this back pillar. I don't know if anyone remembers, but you know, there were pinholes when we were done welding that we covered up with that all metal stuff. So there's always solutions, and I'll tell you now, that sucks to sand. Okay, figured I'd better show you what I'm doing. Ignore the fat guy. So I'm blind, and all I'm doing, now it's got my ground, I got my air, so there's an area that needs built up. So in an area that needs a little build up, just a little bit. Come down here, there's another area. Okay, that's it for there. And then I'll come over here and I'll keep adding there. It's like I know I got a spot right here. And then kind of cool everybody down a little bit. If I can't touch it, it's too hot. That's why I'm not filming this. It's very slow, it's very tedious, it's boring, but it's got to be done. So here, let me take this glove off. Let me show you what this looks like so far. Then every now and then I take the brush, kind of knock off all the soot. So you can see we're starting to get quite a bit of buildup on this side. I've been doing this, well, long enough that the sun's going down. So you can see we're just slowly building it up. And what I'm going to try to do is build up this whole piece. You know, once I have it out as far as I want, I can lift the hood up and do the fillet on the back side. So that when all this is body worked, you'll literally never be able to tell. You can see I've already started kind of doing that up here, but I got a lot to do there yet. When I'm done, I want it to be something that you'd really have to look at to tell it's not that. And, you know, I might be looking for something unattainable. I don't know. Seems to be working so far. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Pulling our stick, and you'll notice we're a little snug here, but snug is easier. That's just grinding. And then here looks perfect. Little gap here, but you know, you can see it. Looking pretty good here. Now, here's where it's starting to kind of get wobbly again. Sorry, I didn't go turn off the music. So you can see it's still a little wobbly all the way up. So I've still got to add more from this point back. And then just some fill-in work here. I'm pretty happy here. I'd like to do a couple more tacks right here, and then I can start doing fill-in work. But the other thing you'll note, the hood hasn't really bent a whole bunch yet. So that's a good thing. And he may not like welding, but he does like treats. So Mr. Man came out. Oh, I can't get that one-handed. Let's go get a pretzel instead, buddy. Also, let's turn off the music for a minute. There we go. Let's get him some pretzels. He braved the welder. So, there you go. One more, buddy. Yeah, I know, you make a big mess. There. Guess he was coming to tell me it's getting later than I think. Okay, we're getting ready to do another grind down. So we've got a few more spots on the front. But more importantly, I'm starting to do the fillet underneath. I hope that shows up. And I've kind of started that on this side, but there's a long way to go there. Look at how much buildup that is. But we're starting to get our top edge. So this will kind of disappear in and go to this. It's still kind of too hot to be doing that. So, because I'm an idiot. Anyway, let's get to grinding. All right. Little grinding. Let's get our stick. Let's find out how we did. Just blew it out, and you can see I'm going to wind up having to pull back this material a little further. You can see it gets discolored. Also, I didn't realize how thick that was, but now we know. So let me get square on the hood here. Okay. Let's make sure we haven't done anything over here. Now, this bumper isn't set perfect, but that's fine. I'm just looking for this gap. Remember, we're snug here. All right. And come around. Oh, we're starting to really get there, I think. Let me push that back down where she goes. So you can see we're right now. I don't have the bumper up on this side, so there might even have to grind a little there. And definitely a little there. Suddenly, suddenly doesn't look that bad. You know what I think I'm going to do next? I'm not going to do any more grinding or welding. I'm going to re-square the hood and make sure, because I'm sure it's moved some. It has to have. There's no way it hasn't, because that's a lot of welding for 4 hours. So let's re-square the hood and see where we're at. Okay, I just spent a couple minutes just twisting the hood around a little bit, doing a little loosen, a little tighten, that sort of behavior. I want you to see something. Now, it does dip right here. Don't worry about that. And then there. This is the area I must have overheated. Although, you'll notice, there is a mountain. I mean, a veritable mountain of filler here. So, I might not be the one who twisted that. That might have been the last guy. But I could probably do a little more filling and shaping here in metal. But boy, I'm real happy. So watch this. Coming across to there. Now, it's still wide here. Remember, it was before. And we talked about filling it. And I know it looks like it's tight there, but that's just because of the color there. So the stick does not lie. And then we come over here and you can see that does that. Now it's funny, the same way that side's down a little, this side in the middle is up a little. I wonder if that's something I can still tweak out. I wonder if I can raise that a little bit to make that a little less. But I am infinitely closer than I was before. And then I think on the cowl, I think we're going to wind up tweaking it. We're going to take it off and do a little tweak and kind of flex it this way and flex it that way and see if we can get that to pop up a little. But we're not doing that today. Don't know if you noticed, it got dark on me. I don't know where today went. It was a frustrating day of work, so it was nice to come out here and beat on some metal for a while. I don't know how I've been out here for 5 hours already, but you know, that sure disappears quick. Important thing is, we're getting really close here. I really like this. This corner is such an improvement. I can't even get over that. Now, like I said, this is low here, but boy, before I ground it, it was low before. It was low in metal. So, bugger. Wow. That's a lot of buildup. It didn't seem like much until, I mean, I can feel the height difference here too. So, yeah, it's pretty high build stuff. But, you know, on the same token, that's what I can sand down and make things perfectly smooth. So we'll probably have to, when he's ready, feather this back probably all the way to here. I'm going to let Harlan tell me that. I don't know squat about painting. I am going to work a little more on getting this closer. Oh, that's the other thing. I don't have the bumpers in. The bumpers aren't even installed at the moment. So, I don't know if she'll pop up. No. Never does. And it's hard to do this with your foot, but maybe. Well, look at that. So I can probably pry it up by popping a shim in that back corner. It'll rotate that a little bit. And then here you can see I've got a lot of back welding to do here. But I have started it in a few spots. But I'd like to bleed that right in so that when it was ground in, you'd never notice it. And I want that metal. I don't want that to be just a bunch of filler. Same here. In fact, you can see I've been building it up. We're eventually going to get that built across. And then I'm going to backfill this so that I can grind it so that this ramp comes right up. And you don't notice it. And here you can see just how much I had to add. So, coming down, and then of course it kind of fades away right here. So, that's another night right there, and it isn't going to be in a day or two. I got to take a break from this project. But man, I was really hoping that this would fit a little nicer. I can't get over how much, I mean, that is a tremendous amount. There's a lot of filler there. So, apparently we're doing a really good job. So anyway, we'll get this built up. Like I said, I probably will add one skim of metal up here to blend in as well. I'll talk to Harlan about that. Like I said, this is a lot of buildup. I need to find out how far back I gotta go. Also, can I rotate it in adjustment a little bit, bring the hinge height up just a little. Remembering I had these adjusted pretty much all the way down, so they weren't even in contact with anything. And this is an adjustment, but all that sets is the height relative here. So I'm really, really close, actually. Closer than I've been. See, that's all that adjustment does, is that height. And you'll notice, God, it just kills me. We're not far off, but we're off. But that is well within the range of what I'll be able to kind of mud in. We talked about that before. Remember, we ran the string. And I know you can't see it now, but that line goes straight, 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 and then deviates ever so slightly. Is what it is. I still got to do that, and I still got to weld that. That's a reminder to myself. But you'll notice I didn't have to come back and push down on any hinges. It's already down, so that's good, both sides. So we've got those adjusted so they're rocking in. I just think I've got to actually raise this level a little, because this is even just a touch low. So I could bring that up a little as well. It's really strange how all this goes. And yeah, I think I'm going to wind up having to add a little here. Been thinking about just adding it to the header. I don't know. It might still have to be on the hood. Yeah, overall, that is just so much better than it was. It's getting, you know, within the realm of what I can do. So, once we get that to the point where I'm pretty happy that it's going to be within the body workability, we'll take that front end apart, clean up that couple areas I have left to weld, get it back together, make sure everything's square, and then go back over these doors, make sure the doors are as lined as they're going to be, because unfortunately there's just nothing I can do about that. It's weird though, when you're standing up here you don't see it, but when the car's up in the air, boy, you can't not see it. But we'll do what we can, get those as lined up as we can, and then we'll be able to come back in here. And before we go over for primer and build and sanding and everything again, one, I've got to get the trunk lined up a little better. I think that's in my wheelhouse now. I think I might actually be able to pull that off. A couple little things on the tail pan that I want to still hammer out. I've got something on one of the quarters I want to hammer out as well. But yeah, this is getting close. I think I'm almost done with the scariest bits of body work as far as the welding. So then once all that is to the point where I'm kind of happy, I do have my templates and I have the lower trim, and I think it behooves me to get that mounted, get holes drilled for starters, make sure I'm going to be happy, make sure everything fits because it is aftermarket stuff. And once I'm happy with the front end, then I'm going to put the ventipanes and the window regulators in. I really don't want to, but boy, I got a feeling if I don't, I'm going to be very sad later. You know, remember I had to add material to the other lock on the other side. So what if I have to add material to get the windows to work? So I just need to get that in there just to make sure. That's going to be fun. But I've got well, not all summer, but I've got some time this summer to take care of that. Yeah, yeah, all that kind of got blown away. Everything kind of blew off while I was using the air gun. So I'll have to get that all covered back up. But this is getting really close. It's even hard to tell where it was all added. So, yeah, let's get this built back up. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. ShopDog would say something to you, but I think he already went back in with Mommy since it's way past his bedtime. So, all right. RocketShip's coming together. Thanks for watching.